Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is August 23rd, 2024. Chilling here with Lammy Chillmeister, my co-host. As far as the update, first of all, I just finished eating some McDonald's. I know, it's garbage. But as you guys know, I'm a big fan of playing cards. Now, when most people hear that, they're like, oh, you play poker, you play rummy, you play blackjack. I'm like, no, I'm a nerd. I play like Magic the Gathering, Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Top Trumps, that type of shit. Pretty much if you put a monster on a card with some numbers, I'm playing it, It makes me happy. At McDonald's right now, I've seen the Happy Meals they got. They show the little box on the sign where you order. It was Yugi's face, Yami Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh, and Hello Kitty. And I'm like, what the fuck? And at first I thought, oh, maybe they're just, they're splitting it, kind of showing like boy-girl toy. Like they have two toys, and you guys know, especially if you have kids, you know that you have to specify, hey, I have a boy or a girl. Which, I ain't gonna lie, I'm surprised that's still going on in 2024 with all the cultural Marxism. You would think that they would have, like, every toy would be unisex now. Interesting. Like unisex or trans. Especially knowing how evil McDonald's is as a corporation. But, so I went up to the window and I'm like, cause I used to collect like the Yu-Gi-Oh from McDonald's. They used to give cards out. I'm a big card collector, obviously. So I got excited. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna release some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I went to the first window to pay for my food. Asked the lady, I'm like, hey, what's the Happy Meal toy, She said, oh, it's, here, check it out. And she handed me one. It's a keychain, a little stuffed animal keychain, and it's Hello Kitty cosplaying as Dark Magician. And I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I'm gonna have to get some of these for me and my wife. But as far as just like a fun little update, I figured I'd start the podcast out with some joy, because let's get into kind of an update / what's going on in general politically. So, I work third shift. I got a little bummed out Wednesday, man. And it fucking blows because I was genuinely having a good day. I've actually, most days are good fucking days, knock on wood, lately, because I told you guys, like, I have horrible depression. I've had multiple head injuries, and I had a theory that I probably have like CTS or CTE, whatever the wrestlers and football players get that causes depression, because it's gotten like, I don't know, I've had issues since I was a child. Like, I got put into special ed because I was literally crying all the time. I'd just walk around staring at the ground. I had a concussion when I was a kid, like a really bad fucking concussion where I was seeing double vision and puking my guts up and shit. And, I don't know. I've just always had really bad mental depression and mental issues and shit. To the point they put me in special ed. So, but I've been taking like L-theanine and ashwagandha, and I'm going to do a whole health episode on it one day, a deep dive, because I swear, dude, this has like saved my life. But Wednesday night, I found out, my buddy walked up to me and he's like, hey, they're talking RFK is going to drop out of the race. And I'm like, fuck, man. And disclaimer, go listen to my previous episodes, which, by the way, I try not to become too political on this channel. God damn, son, I'm recording. I try not to become too political on this channel because it is a conspiracy channel, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. You cannot separate politics from conspiracy. Just like true crime, you cannot separate true crime from conspiracy. And there's a lot of conspiracy theorists who are anti-politics, anti-true crime, and I'm like, that's fine. You can do that if that's the path you choose. You're just limiting your information. I believe that these politicians do have power as far as local power. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not puppets, but they are pieces on the board, and you have to pay attention to politics to see how the enemy is moving his chess pieces. We are in a battle, politically, spiritually, literally, physically, philosophically. So, I do cover politics on this channel. Good news is, I will not be covering politics as much, so I can focus more on the fun subjects, which actually make me happier, of like paranormal, cryptozoology, ufology, which if we have time, we're going to cover some ufology today. The occult, all that type of shit. I love that shit more than I love, covering politics, I didn't really become political until I was a QAnon, a Q-tard, and I was on the Trump train, and super big into Trump, and he was like the one and only person I ever voted for. So my buddy came up to me, and he's like, dude, RFK's talking about dropping out, and I'm like, fuck, man, and he's like, well, just listen. And he's like, oh, that was my other disclaimer. I already knew RFK was going to lose. Now, RFK has like 2 or 3 times preached on his channel because I do subscribe to him on YouTube. And I'm going to stay subscribed to him because him and Shanahan do podcasts and stuff, which is cool. I still love RFK. But, what was I saying? Hang on just a second. I remember now. I already knew he wasn't going to win. And he did 2 or 3 times on his channel say that statistically he has the possibility of winning. Which I ain't gonna lie, I kind of believed it. I don't think he was lying. Because we all know you can't trust the polls, dude. The polls can say, we all remember the 2016, it was 2016, when Trump first ran against Hillary. We all fucking knew, well, we all know that they lie, because they had it in the bag for Hillary. And I truly believed that they seriously thought they were going to win. I think that's why, in my opinion, they didn't bother to rig that election. Because I think they had so much confidence that Hillary Clinton was going to blow Trump out of the water. I think that they underestimated us as American people. Like, they thought we were more brainwashed than we actually are. And I say that because, I might be a conspiracy theorist. I might be white-pilled, but I've probably got some brainwashing still. I'm going to admit it. And honestly, I don't know everything, William Cooper, like the king of conspiracy, the greatest conspiracy theorist, as far as my opinion, radio broadcaster to ever walk the earth, even he fell for like the ufology psyop, you know, and he admitted it. He's like, I fucked up. I messed up. I was telling you all there was aliens. I was telling you all, you know, I fell into the alien trap, you know. And then he became later on anti-alien, saying basically like, dude, they're going to do a fake alien invasion. Aliens are a psyop. It's a government craft. They're going to use holograms, shit like that, you know, blue beam. He fell for it, you know. So I know for a fact that there's some brainwashing in me probably. But I think that they thought they had a tighter grip on the minds of the American people, so they didn't bother rigging it for Hillary, because they thought that they had it in the bag. They got too confident and they got too cocky. Where the fuck am I going with this? But yeah, I was on the Trump train. And I guess the point I was trying to make, I'm super scatterbrained today. I woke up late. I actually slept super fucking deeply. And the reason why was because yesterday, after finding out that RFK might be dropping out, I ain't gonna lie, I started noticing my mood change. I started getting depressed. And my depression has been like barely creeping around, but it was creeping around enough to where I was getting irritated. I was getting depressed. I didn't go into like a full rage. I didn't go into a full depression, but I could tell that I was like, man, I'm bummed out. So I do apologize. Yesterday I was supposed to put out a Leave the World Behind read along with commentary. We were supposed to go into a deep dive on Starbucks. I know it sounds weird, but Starbucks. Because apparently Starbucks and the emblem of Starbucks is trending in the conspiracy community. And I figure, hey, if this is what you guys are interested in, I'm going to cover it. You know, because I try to keep a pulse on the community to see what you guys are into. Even though I'm the black sheep of the conspiracy community. Hang on just a second. So I could already feel it creeping in, man. And if you deal with depression, you know how it feels. You could feel it creeping in. So as soon as I got off work, Sammy was like, how was your day? I was like, oh, my day was awesome till about halfway through the shift. And she said, oh, what's going on? I said, well, for one, I'm taking my schizophrenia medication, which is aripiprazole. I take it, I literally keep it around and I take it when I'm having a super bad day. And it wasn't like I was having a super horrible day, but it literally makes you numb. And the reason why is I'm going to do a deep dive on it and do a whole episode about it. And I'll probably get kicked off of YouTube for it, because this shit, aripiprazole, is literally a chemical lobotomy. I took it for months and was literally chemically lobotomizing myself. That's why I was walking around feeling numb, because I was literally destroying my frontal lobe. And if you know anything about your frontal lobe, that's where your perception of God is. That's where spirituality dwells. This is your temple. Your temples up in here, this is your temple. When you hear the Bible talking about Jesus preaching about our bodies are our temples, he's talking about God resides in your brain, your frontal lobe. I watched a whole documentary. It was an atheist documentary it was a documentary that Richard Dawkins put out, because there was a time period when I was feeling very atheistic spiritually, if that makes sense. And angry at God, and I was watching a lot of atheistic documentaries. I was getting into Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, Sam Harris. I can't remember the fourth, but they called it the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. That was their nickname. And Richard Dawkins put out a really interesting documentary, and he got his brain scanned, and it said that his frontal lobe was underdeveloped and stuff, and that was why they scientifically believe that he is not a spiritual person. And I've had this argument with people. People are like, oh, I'm trying to reach my grandson. I'm trying to get him into church. I'm trying to get him to believe in God, but he's an atheist, and I'm trying to save his soul. And I tell him, I say, stop trying to save his soul. His frontal lobe might be different than yours. And they go, what? What you saying there, boy? Because they're usually redneck hicks, and you're trying to explain the anatomy of the brain to them, because I live in Kentucky. People who are atheists, it might not be their fault. Their frontal lobe could be damaged. Their frontal lobe could be underdeveloped. Their frontal lobe could not fire off like ours. So they literally can't feel spirituality. They literally can't believe in God. They might not even be able to help it, people. But yeah. So I was depressed, and I took an apomeprazole, and I slept all fucking day, and I slept all fucking night. I slept till 7 o'clock tonight, when normally I get up at 4 p.m. I slept like a baby all night. Well, all day, because I work third shift. I slept all day yesterday. I got up to eat, stayed up here and there, but barely anything. I did not podcast. I did not want to podcast, so I do apologize for that. So I woke up this morning, which would be afternoon for you all, because I'm a night owl. Checked it out. I did not watch the full speech. I just watched clips because I didn't want to watch the full speech. I just wanted to find the information out and podcast about it. RFK officially has suspended his presidential run. Now, does that mean that he fully dropped out? I don't know. I wish that they would just say he dropped out. I hate when they do this shit of, like, suspended, because when I was in school, suspending means, like, oh, you're suspended from school for a week. That means you can come back to school. Is he suspending it because he might come back, or he's debating on coming back? I don't know. But I'm not going to get my hopes up, so I'm just going to assume and make an ass out of you and me, and not get my hopes up and just say he dropped out. Which I'm fine with. Like I said, I already knew he was going to lose. I already knew he was the underdog. I was rooting for the underdog, so it's not crushing to me. I'm not over here like, oh no, we're doomed. I'm gonna fall into a deep depression. I'm gonna fucking, kill myself. Oh! No. I'm not gonna do that. And yesterday, while I was in my depression, me and my wife had a good, long conversation as soon as I got home, because we had to run some errands that day. We had to go to the bank and do some financial stuff. So she was staying at home, not the full day. She still went into work, but she went into work a little bit later because she had to pick me, or had to get me from, we had to go up to the bank together because we have a joint account and I'm the holder of the account. So we had to handle business, but we had about an hour to blow, and she's like, did what a good wife is supposed to do. What's wrong, honey? Well, let's talk about it. And I wanted some time to think about it and pray about it, because I am a spiritual person. I believe in the creator of all, Hugh, I don't worship Jehovah. I don't worship Jesus, so my praying is probably different than yours. But I was praying to God and thinking about it the whole day yesterday. That's why I didn't work, man. I was like, I just need a good day to just pray and think about things. And RFK is endorsing Trump. Now, my buddy, he was listening to a podcast, and the one that broke the news to me a Wednesday night, and he's like, it's not the end of the world. He's gonna jump on Trump's campaign cabinet, and they're saying he was going to be like in charge of like health, some form of health. Fauci stepped down. Now, I'm personally hoping that he replaces Fauci, whatever spot that is. I don't even know who replaced Fauci. Does anyone know? I should have kept up with that. That's kind of an important thing to know. I've said it before on the channel. I can't keep up with everything, man. So if you know in the comments, hit me up, because it's just, there is too much going on. Every day I feel like there's something new, man. I can't keep up with it all. That's why usually most of my episodes are 1 or 2 subjects, maybe 3, But something health-wise, which would be a perfect spot for RFK. So, RFK, and they interviewed Trump. I think it was CNN interviewed him. Not really a full interview, but they asked him a question while they had him for a second and said, hey, RFK, he might drop out. Are you going to put him in your cabinet? Do you have a spot for him? And Trump said, well, I hope he endorses me. And we haven't talked about that. I don't know if we have or have not. Which there has been suspicion because of his leaked phone call. So go check that conversation out. That podcast that I put out about the Trump RFK leaked phone call. But there is suspicion already that they were planning on, and I talked about Roseanne Barr asking about him being VP, and he said I can't talk about that as far as Trump, I think like for a month, at least for a month, RFK already was planning to drop out and join the Trump team. And they just weren't allowed to talk about it because they were waiting to get all their ducks in a row before they started shooting. So it's not certain, but RFK officially has dropped out. It's not certain if he's going to be a part of the Trump team. He does endorse Trump. Shanahan had a podcast interview with I don't know who. I just listened to a clip of it. Some guy that I have no fucking clue. You can look it up. Just look up Shanahan podcast. It's probably one of the most recent ones. She was literally talking about how they don't want to become a spoiler ticket. They knew statistically they still had a chance of winning, is the way Shanahan described it. If you don't know who Shanahan is, she was the VP choice for RFK Jr. She seemed really cool. She's got her own podcast, so go check it out. Tell her who sent you. Maybe she'll give me a shout out. Doubtful, but doesn't hurt. She was saying that there is still a chance, but they were actually like pretty much thinking about like, do we want to be what they would call a spoiler ticket? So a spoiler ticket would mean they are stealing votes from Trump and Harris. Here's the part where I kind of disagree, and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I was on the Trump train. I've already said this before. I was on the Trump train. I used to be a Q-tard. I'm a registered Republican. My first reaction when I heard that just rumor that RFK was dropping out and he was joining the cabinet of Trump, my first reaction was, oh, fuck, I'll just vote for Trump. But then, I don't know, man. Yesterday, I spent time just praying and thinking about it. My wife was like, I think you should vote for Trump. I think you should still vote. I think you should vote for Trump. And just my gut keeps telling me no. And I don't want you guys thinking I have TDS, because I've said a billion times on this channel that I do believe that Trump is the lesser of two evils. But the dude who broke the news to me, he kind of got through to me, man. When my first reaction was, I'm gonna vote for Trump because he's the lesser of two evils, he literally just made this disgusted face, and he's like, you gotta stop thinking like that. Like, I hate that phrase. I don't know, it just kind of cut me. Ugh, you got me with a knife, you know. And you feel it in like a spiritual knife, you know. Like when Frodo got stabbed by the Witch King in Lord of the Rings. For all you nerds out there. Ugh. But he was right, man. I'm like, I should stop thinking like that. Like, that's weak thinking. My guy dropped out. I'm gonna drop out. Now my guy is going and joining the Trump team, endorsing him. I support RFK's decision. I do believe Trump is the lesser of two evils, and he even explained, RFK, in his little addressing the nation speech, that he feels he would be of more use to the children. That's all he kept bringing up, the children. I'm worried about the children of this country as far as the medical industry and the harm and stuff, and that's my main focus. And I think that I can do more good dropping out, not stealing votes from Trump, just seeing if he can work with Trump or something, and saving more children's lives. And I get that. I feel that's an honorable choice. I feel that's an honorable reason. But I can support his decision. I can support RFK, but not vote for Trump. I just, in my heart of hearts, with my conscience, I cannot jump back on the Trump train. I jumped off the Trump train for a lot of reasons, you know. Operation Warp Speed, QAnon, and people go, well, QAnon has nothing to do with Trump. Trump knows what he's doing. If you've watched enough of Trump, he's always brought up 17, 17, 17. Go type in Trump 17 compilation. He has said 17 a billion fucking times. He knows what he's doing. When he got his ear nicked the other day, if that actually happened, because sorry, I'm kind of blueing on when it comes to that shit. The more I looked into it, I'm like, I don't know, man. This is kind of weird. I'm not saying I'm one way or the other, you know, that it was a hoax or not, but I am kind of like, there's a lot of weird shit. But he's affiliated with Q. He's posted QAnon post on his fucking Truth Social account. He knows what he's doing. He knows what Q is. So when you see him go, I don't know what Q is, but they're against pedophiles, so they sound cool to me. He knows what QAnon is. And when he got nicked in the ear, that's what I was going to say. He stood up saying, raising his fist, going, fight, fight, fight. That was all based off a QAnon post. Talking about fight, 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 you know. He knows exactly what the fuck he's doing, and he knows exactly what QAnon is, dude. I just can't jump back into the whole Q shit. I can't jump back onto the Trump train because there's a lot of shit that he did that I didn't like. Operation Warp Speed. He's still affiliated with QAnon. He's never disavowed it. He infringed on our Second Amendment after the Vegas shooting with banning bump stocks. And people go, well, people overturn that. It doesn't matter. It's the point he tried to do it. It's the point he tried to. 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 It's the point he tried to yeah, I can't. In my conscience, I feel that I can't do it. And it just doesn't feel right doing it. So, honestly, it bums me out that RFK dropped out because I was looking forward to voting for him. Even though I knew he was going to lose. But there is a part of me, that fleshly, carnal part of me that goes, hey, it's kind of nice. I can sleep in on voting day. And I'm going to probably get mixed comments. I don't really care. There's going to be people that are like, oh, you're throwing a fit. You need to vote. You need to vote Trump anyways. You need to do your responsibility and vote. And nah, I'm just going to sit this one out. I'm not going to vote this year. My thing is, there is hope though. Like, I think RFK could run again next election. He says he's getting older, but he is the most physically fit candidate, dude. He goes surfing, he goes like hiking, he works out. He is fucking jacked. He's like 70 something years old, and he looks sexier physically than me. It puts me to shame and makes me go, oh God, I need to start working out, you know. This is sad. So yeah, I'm gonna sit this one out. Now, I'm not telling you guys to sit this one out. You guys do what you guys need to do. Like I said, I believe Trump is the lesser of two evils. I would rather see him win, but I do know that they stole the last election and got away with it, so why wouldn't they steal this one too? That doesn't mean don't go out and vote. Go out and vote. You know, vote for whoever you want. Harris, Trump, Vermin Supreme. I just know that I'm done. And in a weird way, it's kind of a relief, and I feel like a weight lifted off my shoulders when I decided that I was going to sit this one out. It was kind of relieving. Yeah, you're an idiot with a Corvette. Gotcha. What I was trying to say, it is kind of relieving. But you guys do you. You do you, boo-boo. Whatever you feel in your conscience. God has his mission for you. I just know that he has a mission for me, and my mission is to just sit this one out. To pass down my sword. Shameless plug. Go check out that episode. That's my attitude towards this too. It's actually a really good fucking episode. It's called I Pass Down My Sword. Please go check it out. And it's kind of the same way I feel with this. So I'm going to sit this one out, guys. But I hope y'all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. And y'all have a good day.